The Buffalo Bills clinched the AFC East division on Sunday night with a dominant performance in Week 13. They are now traveling to Los Angeles to take on Matt Stafford and the Rams, who are trying to keep their division title hopes alive. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Week 14 matchup between the Buffalo Bills and Los Angeles Rams. But before we do that, we have a goal of getting 6,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win this game and why. So, Ryan, amazing game by the Buffalo Bills team overall. And what a fun environment, I think, just to watch a game. And so the ultimate home field advantage, especially to the way that Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, Joe Brady, they have that offense running right now. And even then, too, on the defensive side of the ball with how good they are in the front seven. They have a good secondary as well, too. Not take anything away from them, but it's going to be a much more run-heavy type game, and it feels like they are just really good in the trenches overall. And that type of environment fits the way that they're playing football now. And so, if they could get home field advantage in the playoffs, get that first-round bye, man, that's going to be tough. And so they're going to be going and playing in a fully controlled environment, though. That being said, probably maybe a home a neutral site game, I should say, because I feel like Bills Mafia is going to show up well at SoFi. Take on Matt Stafford and the Rams, who had a good victory on the road against the Saints in the Superdome. Bills are going to be favorite coming in this matchup here. What do the Rams need to do to potentially pull up the upset here and stay in touch with the Seahawks for the division title?
Well, I hate to say it this way, but they need to make this game boring. They need to shut down the run on the defensive side of the ball. They need to get after Josh Allen while keeping him in the pocket. So having good rush lane discipline. And then with that being said, this is a good wide receiver room. Keon Coleman has been out. With Amari Cooper there, that does add another level of explosiveness, although he has been hurt and with the hand or thumb injury. And it still, to me, I think is lacking like a true explosive passing attack. But if they can force Josh Allen to have to kind of go through his progressions and play quarterback from the pocket, I think that's going to be the best route to success for them. And then on the flip side, you got to block for Matthew Stafford. This is a defensive line that can get after it. The secondary is playing really well this year. And so get the ball out of Matthew Stafford's hands quickly, let Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp kind of create with themselves, and you're going to have to be methodical. But I think the best way that they're going to win this game is a 23-20 kind of like boring game where there's just not a whole lot of action that goes on. Because I think when the haymakers start flying, Buffalo always seems to figure out a way to pull out ahead. And with Josh Allen, going back to that Chiefs game, they did a pretty good job against Josh Allen in that Chiefs game. And then it's still on that 4th and 2 play. He finds a way to have this Superman-esque run into the end zone to kind of seal the game. So, this is a really good Bills team, and you kind of have to play boring football, I think, to beat them. Because when Josh Allen gets in the rhythm and starts getting out of the pocket and making those throws on the run, it's really hard to stop him.
Well, and I think that's one of the biggest things, too, is just looking at it now, is how efficient this Bills offense has been when it comes to protecting the ball. They're actually leading the league right now when it comes to offensive turnovers. They've only had 7 turnovers so far on the season. Yeah. It comes from just a good job protecting the ball, not too many fumbles. Josh Allen's done a much better job in his decision-making. So he's still being just as effective throwing the ball and also running the ball as well, while being much smarter in his decision-making as well. Much more accurate also probably too. But yeah, they don't really have that Justin Jefferson-esque, CeeDee Lamb-esque receiver. But I think that's where it's credit to Joe Brady, though, to develop this offensive system to where we're going to be super effective in the running game, and that's going to open things up as well in the passing game. And guys like Khalil Shakur is doing well. Dalton Kincaid hasn't really even been super healthy, but you still have Dawson Knox, who's been effective. Matt Collins, a veteran receiver that's come there, has done a good job also. There's a couple other guys even as well, Mark Cooper, who you mentioned that they traded for.
Obviously, having a Stephon Diggs like the Bills had for the past few seasons is beneficial. In a way, though, the offense that they're playing right now makes them tougher to defend because they're just taking what you give them. They're not keying in on one receiver most of the time. the progression could start with Khalil Shakir, or it could end with Khalil Shakir. Like, it is very difficult to defend because you really don't know like where the ball is going.
Yeah. Well, they're very unpredictable. They can line up in 11 personnel, and you can't really get a good read off of them on what they're going to do, which makes things easier on Josh Allen. But Josh Allen also is having he's up there. Well, he's obviously going to be up there with MVP anyways. But it
feels different this year with him.
It definitely feels different this year for sure. And so, kind of translating this over though to what the Rams need to do, and to your point about trying to keep this Bills offense off the field, and I agree with you with that. It's try and be as effective and efficient as possible. You want those explosive plays. They have those explosive play capabilities as well with Puka Nacua, and then also too with Cooper Kupp, and so Kyron Williams has having a good season so far. Also, and they still have another good cast of characters as well with DeMarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell, other guys that can help out in the passing game. But if this turns into a shootout, I don't think that's really the type of game that they would want to go and play, just because of how effective the Bills have been to move the ball down the field. And as we saw Sunday night, and maybe that's Sunday night is a tough gauge on how well they can move the ball and how they can break a running play just randomly. Like James Cook had a 65-yard touchdown run. Maybe it was not the best example just with the conditions that it was in, but I think that's still something that they've been able to do pretty consistently. And I think I saw too, they've scored 30 or more points in their past 6 games, I think, pretty consistently now as well, especially with this type of offense. So,
they've only scored less than 30. Oh, no, never mind. They had the 35-10 loss.
Yeah. I mean, they lost to the Texans like 23-20, I think.
Yeah. But other than that, when they've won, they've only scored less than
23 up on the Jets.
Yeah.
But still won that game. So the biggest thing for the Rams though is their front seven is gonna play great, and that's gonna be a fun matchup to watch. We've been talking about that Bills running game, and then this Rams front seven is doing well. Their issue is going to be actually that passing game. So we're talking about how Bills passing game maybe kind of reminds me of Green Bay a little bit, where it's a great offensive system. Maybe the receivers individually aren't studs, but they fit really well within that system. How is this Rams secondary going to somehow slow down this Bills passing attack, just because they can really hit anybody? It could be anybody's day to be successful. It could be Khalil Shakir that gets 10 targets. Could be Matt Collins. Could be Dalton Kincaid if he's healthy. Keon Coleman comes back, or Amari Cooper, who has been playing, comes back. Those could be the guys that Josh Allen could throw to that day. Because I think the front seven, they're going to have to play a great game just in general to try and stop this Bills rushing attack. But then on the same time, on the flip side of that, the Rams offensive line is going to have to do well against this Bills defensive front seven, which is also one of the better ones in the league also. So it's going to be really interesting. Matt Milano did come back to play for the Buffalo Bills this past week. But just with the conditions, it was kind of hard to see how effective he was in stopping the passing game. I'm sure he had an effect, but this is going to be really fun to watch Matt Milano go up against Matt Stafford and this passing offense, having him line up across Kyron Williams, who is a good back catching out of the backfield. And that's going to be a fun matchup as well, or just in some of the other passing zones with a lot of the crossing routes that the Rams seem to do within their motion. So it's going to be a fun game to watch. Kind of getting into predictions, unless if you have anything else that you want to say here. It's hard for me to go against Buffalo in this situation here. I absolutely could see the Rams pulling off the upset, but everything seems to be clicking right now for Buffalo. So I'm going to go with Buffalo in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Buffalo also. I just think they're the better team right now. They're getting hot at the right time. Right now, I feel like, and I'm going to knock on wood, but the only thing that I think that's going to really derail this team is injuries. They have probably the easiest last 3 games you could want as well, where it's Patriots, Jets, Patriots. So those are 2 top 5 picking teams in the 2025 NFL draft. And so they have the Rams this week, the Lions next week, but all in all, like this Bills team, they seem primed to potentially get that number 1 seed and get a playoff bye and home field advantage, which I think would be huge for their team. So
that Lions game next week is going to be amazing.
I'm so looking forward to that. The only thing, and not to like give away my pick a week early because we'll have to see what happens, but like the Lions defense is so banged up. Like the Bills might just be able to line up the ball and just run it.
Maybe,
times.
But they're still able to. They're still able
to
do well. So we'll preview that game next week.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this game here. We are both taking the Bills over the Rams here. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Buffalo Bills? Will it be the Los Angeles Rams? And that we'll see you guys next time.